What is going on, Raptors Nation? It is Luka here back with a post-game video. Hope you're all doing well. The Toronto Raptors, their undefeated streak out of the All-Star break, unfortunately, comes to an end as they fall to the Dallas Mavericks, 136 to 125. We are going to talk about it. If you all can be so fair, please hit a like on the video. It helps it a ton. And also, please subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content just like this. So, you knew this was going to be a tough game for the Raptors. Yes, I know the Mavericks were on the second of a back-to-back, but the Mavericks, this is a legit team. I think this is a low-key title contender in the Western Conference. They've been playing much better ball since making those trades, bringing in guys like Gafford, PJ Washington, and of course they have their two stars in Luka and Kyrie that complement each other so well. And not to mention, the Mavericks came into this game suffering a deflating defeat at the hands of the Cavaliers. Max Strus hitting that 60-plus foot buzzer beater. So you knew the Mavs were going to come in focused and wanting to win this game, especially with how they lost last game. And the Raptors, I thought they did an excellent job in the first half, really keeping up with the Mavericks. And they actually slowed down Luka for the time being. They did a good job of switching and trapping Luka, not letting him get it going. One play in particular was, Luka was trying to run the pick and roll with, I believe it was Gafford, but then Scotty Barnes stepped up, disrupted the pass, and then that led to an and one opportunity on the other end. The Raptors did a really good job of limiting their turnovers. They got good looks in the paint. Raptors, doing a good job of moving the ball and finding guys inside who were able to finish. And then you look at RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, they really stood out to me in that first half, setting the tone for this team. RJ getting downhill. I know he's been struggling with those free throws. He was 4 of 9 in this one. But overall, efficient game, had a nice first half. And then Emmanuel Quickley came alive in that second quarter. You look at Quickley now, he's had 3 or more threes now in 4 straight games. So he's been able to break out of his slump. So I thought the Raptors did a really good job. And this was a game that they were in, going into halftime. This was a ball game. But then, unfortunately, that third quarter happened. And that's when this game completely flipped as the Dallas Mavericks outscored the Raptors in that third quarter, 40-25. And the Raptors, who did a good job of limiting turnovers in that first half, they had a bunch in the third quarter. And it really allowed the Mavericks to get out and run. And I felt like that's something the Raptors didn't do enough of in this game. And that's something that they've done a lot of during their winning streak. And that was being able to get out and score on the fast break. So the Raptors, their offense wasn't able to get out and run. So we saw, stagnant offense from them, especially in that third quarter. And then you talk about the Maverick stars. I mean, this game came down to the Raptors unable to get stops down the stretch as, they were able to make things interesting in the fourth, putting up 33. But Dallas, they were just too much as, they hit 15 threes. They shot at 54% from the field. And this game basically came down to the Raptors unable to get stops. And then the Mavericks stars doing what they did. It was the Luka takeover in the third after a little bit of a slow start offensively in the first half. Luka exploded in that third quarter, had 11.6 assists, 5 boards alone. And that's not to say Luka didn't have a good first half because he was still racking up the assists. He had at least 5 assists in this one, I want to say, where I was just watching this game, guys, and I'm like, wow, how did he do that? He had a couple of long touchdown pass-like assists in this game, and in that third quarter, Luka just put it all together. He was 1 rebound shy of a triple-double after 3. He ended up finishing this one with the triple-double. It's his 11th triple-double from him of the season, just adding to his MVP resume. I think Luka is without a doubt the MVP for this season. And it was his birthday, his 25th birthday, which is scary. This dude is just turning 25 now. Luka was just too much, and he really just took over this game in that third. And despite shooting a 1 of 8 from 3, again, he is so talented because even in the first half when he didn't have his offense going, he was still able to impact the game, finishing with 16 assists. And then fourth quarter time, it was Kyrie Irving. Luka sat out the first part of that fourth, and then Kyrie, people forget just how good he still is because there's Luka there, but he still got it. 29 points, and they were unable to stop Kyrie. So the Raptors, they did have a chance, but I mean, their defense just couldn't come through with stops. This was just a high octane offensive performance from the Mavericks. As you know, you look at the Raptors, they did get some nice play, like I said, from Quickly and Barrett. Quickly finished with 28. It's been really nice to see him get that three ball to fall. He had 5 threes in this game. Barrett, another efficient outing, 26 points. I thought his decision making was good once again, showing us those playmaking chops. He had 6 assists. Gary Trent Jr. 11, Pirtle 16, Barnes had 19. And you look at the Raptors, they did have 6 players finish in double figures, as Olynyk had 13 from off the bench, and then Barnes had 19, 11, and 7. But anytime you go up against, 2 stars in Luka and Kyrie, if you can't contain them, it's going to be tough to win. And both of them were on their game in this one. Scotty Barnes, you look at his game, he is struggling from 3, which is something you want to see him break out of. And this is per Aaron Rose. Scotty Barnes, this was a guy who jumped onto the scene with his 3-point shooting. He was shooting to 39.5% from 3 through the first 31 games this season. But since the Detroit game, the day OG Anunoby got traded, he is 29 of 114, 25% over his last 27 games. So I know the numbers have been there from Scotty, but I do want to see him being able to break out of that 3-point shooting drill, kind of like how we've seen IQ break out of that post All-Star break. You look at the Raptors bench in this one, I thought Grady Dick continued to play nicely in that first half. He scored all 7. Unfortunately, in the second half, he didn't get a point. But, Grady, to me, continues to look confident. I like the fact that, he's been able to come off screens. He's shooting it with confidence. And, he's also a guy who has been able to space the floor nicely. So it's been nice to see Grady Dick just continuing his stretch of nice play. I mean, I would have loved to see him get more touches in this one. He only had 6 shots, and then a guy like Bruce Brown took 5, and he was 0 of 5. This was a terrible game for Bruce Brown. So I definitely want to see Grady get more touches, especially as he's finding his new confidence. And then Abaji played 8 minutes, did not register a point. He was 0 of 1. So the Raptors, this is a team that is so much more effective when they're able to get out and run, and when they're able to rack up, those fast break points. They were limited in that regard. Turnovers really hurt this team, especially in the second half. I know the Mavericks finished with more, but you can't give the ball up when you're playing a team like the Mavs. And, the assists were there for the Raptors. They finished with 34, but this was a Mavericks team that they just couldn't be slowed down. And that's basically what it came down to. So the Raptors, I know this is, it's obviously sucks not winning this game, especially as they're trying to catch the Hawks in the play-in tournament, as the Hawks are now, I believe, 4 games up on the Raptors in the standings. But look, these are going to be tough games to win. The Mavericks, they're in that next tier in terms of talent level of, teams that are closer to a championship than obviously the Raptors are right now. So didn't expect the Raptors to win this game, but they were able to do a lot of good things in that first half. Unfortunately for the Raptors, it just fell apart in that second half. And like I said, Luka and Kyrie just could not be stopped. So the Raptors, they look to bounce back. Hopefully they can get back in the win column on Friday when they take on the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are going to be on the second of a back-to-back in that game on Friday, so we'll see how the Raptors look in that one. That is it for me, everybody. That's going to conclude today's postgame. Let me know your thoughts, Raptors Nation. Hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I will catch you all again in the next video.